How's it going, everybody? This is Dave LeClaire with MakeUseOf.com, and today we are going to take a look at this beast of a laptop that's in my hand. It's from MSI. It's called the GS70 Ghost Pro 024. It is a 17.3-inch gaming laptop. It's actually very light. You can see I'm comfortably holding this in one hand. Whoa, just kidding. And I'm not having any problems holding it. My arm's not getting tired from the weight. It's actually one of the lightest and thinnest gaming laptops that you're going to find on the market. Now that's impressive, but how about the specs? How does that hold up? I mean, sure, the laptop is thin and light, but if it can't run the latest games, then who really cares, right? I mean, I could go out and get a thin laptop for $500 and it would be very thin and very light, but is it gonna run Skyrim at full resolution? Is it gonna even run Dota 2? Well, thankfully, this laptop does all that and it does it without much issue. So why don't we take a look at the laptop, take a look at what it does, take a look at its specs, all that good stuff, and then you can decide, is it really worth going out and spending $1,800 on this beast, or are you better off just getting a desktop? Let's take a look. So as far as the laptop itself goes, you'll notice that it has a beautiful 17.3-inch display, and this is a 1080p display, so it's going to run all your games at full HD. It can handle it as far as the specs goes, so most games will be able to be run at least upper medium to high settings at full 1080p. It also has this SteelSeries keyboard on it, which is something you won't find on other models. Now this SteelSeries is a company that makes gaming peripherals. That's pretty much what they do. So you get the keyboard designed by them. It offers a little bit better feel, although I did not notice as much of a feel difference as the creators would like to hype it up as. But I did notice a little bit of difference. But you can also customize the lights in different zones to make the backlights look however you want, which is very cool. A very important thing to note about this laptop is that while it does get very hot, because it does have some pretty serious power under the hood, it stays cool where you place your hand, and that's very important. Where your hand rests on your WASD keys or QWER if you're playing a MOBA, you won't get that sweaty palm on the bottom. It does a great job of pushing the heat out to the back and the sides of the laptop and preventing it from keeping your hand hot, which is great. Now, if you're using it on your lap, you will notice that it gets pretty warm. You'll feel the air blowing on your legs. While this is a laptop, it's really more of a portable computer. So one thing you'll notice is there's lots of ports on this thing along both sides. You have your USB, your HDMI, and the key thing is that there's USB on both sides. So if you're lefty or righty, depending on which side you put the mouse on, you can plug in either the dongle or the wired mouse and not have it interfere in your ability to move. You can have it on the opposite side, which is actually a minor detail, but something that's very important that a lot of gamers will definitely appreciate. Now, as far as what's under the hood, you're going to find an Intel Core i7 4700 HQ processor and an NVIDIA GTX 870M graphics card. Now, the GTX 870M has 3 gigabytes of dedicated graphics memory, which is a lot. You're also going to find a 128 gigabyte solid state drive and a 1 terabyte hard drive. Powering all that is going to be 16 gigs of DDR3 RAM. So you're definitely going to find that the specs of this thing will be able to handle pretty much whatever you throw at it. Now it is a laptop, so it does get hot, so you do have that, and it is very powerful in there, but it does a pretty good job of staying cool, and it is able to run most games without problem, which is what we are going to show you next. So as you can see here, looking at Dota 2, we have everything cranked up as high as it will go. Everything is on maximum. Every setting is put on high, and it runs it with no problem at full 1080p. But Dota is not the most advanced game in the world, but it's nice to know that you can turn everything up, you can have all the ambient stuff on, and it will look great. So moving on over to the Elder Scrolls V Skyrim, everything runs on high. Put it on ultra, things tend to go a little bit bad in frame rate, but it will still run. But on high, everything runs very comfortably and smoothly. You won't see any slowdown while playing, which is exactly what you want. You can really see how beautiful the world looks. Obviously, Skyrim is a fantastic looking game, even though it's a couple years old, still can push most systems to their limits, and you can see it runs it quite well. So here we're using 3D Mark's benchmark software, 3D Mark 11. You can see I've sped it up here and it is running through the process of what it did. You can kind of see where the frame rate is at during all of it. It hangs pretty steady at around 30 FPS for most of the tests. During the physics test it does drop down slightly, but it still runs it pretty comfortably. So overall, I would say as far as playing games on this thing goes, you're going to get great performance. It's comfortable. The keyboard works great. Obviously, you're going to want to hook up an external mouse, but it does have a trackpad if you should choose to use that. But for most games, a mouse is going to be the way to go. And it's really just a solid game playing machine. It's not going to beat out a desktop in terms of raw specs if you put them side by side. A desktop that costs the same is going to be better. In fact, a desktop that's going to be cheaper, even a little bit cheaper, is still going to be better. But if you do need portability and you want to get a laptop, this thing will definitely run your games without any problems, and it will do it while looking beautiful. So in the end, while this laptop is extremely powerful, it still can't compete with a desktop that costs less. But that being said, if you do need a gaming laptop for, let's say you're in college and you need to be able to bring your computer around with you, or you go to a lot of LAN events and you don't want to lug around a desktop to the events, this thing will definitely do the job. It's a little cheaper than the Razer Blade Pro, but it comes with actually slightly better specs. It's a little bit lighter and a little bit thinner. So it really is one of the best gaming laptops you're going to get your hand on. Again, if you can get a desktop is going to beat it. But if you can't and you need the portability, this is definitely a great option. It comes packed with some beastly specs. It can handle most any game that you're going to throw at it, and it's just a really good laptop. So if you do need a laptop and you do need that portability, I would definitely say that the MSI is definitely a good choice, and at $1,800, it comes with the specs you would expect for that price point. Once again, this is Dave LeClaire with MakeUseOf.com. Make sure to head on over to the site so you can enter for your chance to win this. That's right, we are giving away this laptop to one of you. Who else does that for you? Nobody. So head over to the site, enter the giveaway, and we'll see you guys next time.